Hi, my name is Dr. Christine Dallahan. I am an energy psychology practitioner, life purpose coach, and intuitive. And today I was guided to make a video about answering the question of what is the soul and why is it important to understand what the soul is in terms of the meaning of our life and purpose in our life. So, when we think about soul and everything that I'm saying in this video, it really comes, it's not theoretical knowledge, okay? Um, you could say that the videos I make are rather philosophical, and they are, of course. You might have a different belief system, and that's fine, right? And what I'm saying might not resonate with you, and that is absolutely fine too. Um, but I just want to make it clear that what I'm saying or what I'm sharing here with all of you is not based on theoretical knowledge. Okay, it is really based on my own experience and my own pre-birth experience and how I can remember it. And only after the fact, when I started researching it, because I wanted to understand if what I experienced was actually just a trick of the mind or was actually something that I really truly experienced, is when I discovered pretty much everything that I remembered, but in writing and in data, and which was in some way anecdotal evidence that what I had experienced was in fact true. Okay, so the theoretical or the philosophical confirmation sort of came after it. So what I'm imparting here today is not book knowledge, although the book knowledge has validated my own experience. Okay, what I'm imparting really is it's experiential knowledge that I just brought forth into life, and for some reason I did not forget, like all of or most of us, when we come into this lifetime and we are born. I did not forget what happened before my birth, and I did not. It has stuck with me to this day, and I am 36, turning 37 in July. So it stuck with me for quite a long while. If you haven't watched my pre-birth video, I have one on this channel, and I have also done a couple of interviews on this, so go ahead and look that up, where I talk about my experience there. But in this video, I want to talk a little bit about what is the soul. Okay, and this comes from my remembrance of me being a soul. So I remember the time right before I was born, and what I remember there as a soul is really, I experienced myself really as a ball of energy. Okay, I experienced myself as this white light ball of energy that was floating around in consciousness, pure consciousness or God consciousness. And while I was in some way understanding myself as sort of the same entity or being that is talking to you in this moment, okay, I did not understand myself in the terms of my personality or the humanness of my being. Okay, so I did not have a name. I did not have a body, clearly. Okay, I did not understand any kind of human things. There was no sort of agenda or anything that I can now attest the human world has sort of laid on me as they domesticated me as a child, in teaching me how society works. So it was really a very pure form of being. Um, and it's very much what's talking to you right now. It was though, the soul is in some way, shape, or form a ball of energy. It is energy, right? And Einstein already was able to prove that energy can neither be destroyed nor does it die. It just changes form. And in that sense, my experience makes a lot of sense, even in the scientific world, because I did experience myself as that ball of energy, as that form. Um, when my memory of what I was in that moment was really just light. Okay, light, like a very charged light, like in a ball form. um, and but I was at the time really part and parcel of everything, I was downloaded with all this spiritual knowledge at the same time as I was able to communicate with others in a similar state of consciousness that also experienced themselves as everything, but then also as a separate individualized self of that everything. Okay, so the soul really is in some way, shape, or form individualized energy of a greater God consciousness. And this is really important to understand because when we understand that we are really a part and a particle of that grander God, part of God's source, okay, and our mission or our desire is to fully merge back into that God consciousness so that we don't have any sort of even sense of, um, you know, not being part of that, then we've kind of accomplished our journey. Our journey really is to stay in the other realm, right, in the afterlife, where we understand ourselves as the uh, you know the where we really merge with that greater God consciousness. And when I say God consciousness, the way that I contextualize it is pure unconditional love, because that's what we are at heart. Okay. And really remembering that is the purpose for coming on this planet. So that's the soul, and the soul, its journey is endless, right? It's kind of we we go and we incarnate here on planet Earth, and play like a part, right? We decide to come into this body and play this um, play this role, right? That will optimally benefit us in order to not ever have to go back. Okay, so the ultimate goal really is to merge with that. I've had a question though, and people were asking me, especially when they listened to one of my first interviews, and the question was, well, why are we even doing all of this? Like, why are we, like coming back here in a body and going through all of this if it's so beautiful over there and it's unconditional love and all of that? Well, it's because there was one point where we kind of um, in some ways separated from that grander source, right? And went on that journey of sort of God realizing itself as God. Okay. And all of us are some way, shape, or form little gods and goddesses. And I don't mean that in a narcissistic, grandiose way, but at our true nature, we really are that spiritual essence, just trying to understand itself, and merging back with itself, right? Because duality is just an illusion. It's an illusion that you're a separate being from everybody else in this physical form. You really aren't. When you leave this body, you're going to merge back with all that is. But we can only experience, and this is in some way, shape, or form a what's it called? It's like a not an oxymoron, but it's gonna sound contradictory. That's the word I was looking for. It's gonna sound contradictory what I'm about to tell you, because we really can only uh, experience ourselves as ourselves, okay? And when I say ourselves, is the grand S, okay? Ourselves as part and particle of God, unconditional love. And we can only remember that we're that when we are in a body, okay? Because all the things that we learn here on planet Earth are not forgotten. They're actually stored. They're stored away in something that some people would call the Akashic records, and they're stored within our, sort of consciousness, our soul consciousness. So everything that we experience in every lifetime, both good and bad, we bring back here to learn and to file on it and to remove blocks and to learn more about ourselves and our unconditionally loving nature of who we truly are at our core. So each lifetime, we're going to work on a little bit of a different aspect of love. Okay. And by a different aspect, I mean forgiveness, for instance, is a little bit of a tweak, right? Forgiveness, or a tweak, it could also be compassion, right? Versus other kinds of love, learning, the difference between human love and unconditional love, um, because unconditional love is in some shape or form divine love. So every time we come back here, we kind of want to learn a different aspect of that grander unconditional love, a different aspect of who we truly are, and then sort of store it in our memories so that at some point we don't have to come back. We can just merge back into who we truly are. So God can basically merge with itself. Okay, so we're all going to at some point merge back into the grander all that is God consciousness, and then not have to come back because we have fully actualized and fully realized who we really truly are. But we can only do this work here in the body, and that's the reason why we're coming back. So, my memory really was as a spirit baby, and that's also why I'm so passionate about working with mothers and so passionate about the spirit baby realm, because it hasn't been recognized as much as, let's say, the afterlife. And when I say the afterlife, okay, there's this whole cycle that we're going through when we leave this body, and then go back into the afterlife. But I'll talk about that in a different video. But basically, what's happening here is that as we enter the stage, right, it's like a revolving door. Okay, as we enter the stage, we're spirit babies planning our role in this lifetime, and then when we exit, we just take our bow and say, okay, this was our role in this lifetime, and then we exit and we debrief of everything that we've learned while we were on stage. So it's a revolving door, right? People come, people go. The babies that come to us are the spirit babies, or the souls that are ready to reincarnate. And my memory is as a spirit baby. So as somebody who had already made her plan to come back for a specific purpose or mission here on planet Earth, and so that was right before then. And we don't have many accounts of them. There's more and more books coming out about spirit babies, more and more people doing that work, and it's very important work because there's a ton of highly evolved souls about to enter planet Earth, who are going to help us with this golden age, who are going to help us build and rebuild this new planet. So the next generations that are about to be born, that have just been born, that are like little children now, they're all very highly evolved souls. And that's also, by the way, why we see a rampant amount of sort of ADHD and all these kinds of highly sensitive issues that these souls have, because it's not easy for them to be in a human body. So I hope that at some point, as a humanity and as a society, we can recognize what's happening here, because it's very important that we don't pathologize these souls, but actually give them a supportive environment where they can really fully help them unfold their gifts and all of that. But so the soul, right, at the point at when it's ready to reincarnate and take on another lifetime trip, that's when we're a spirit baby. So the soul kind of departs, moves through this funnel, and it's a ball of energy, and it's merging with the human body that the mother has built within her body. Okay, and some souls will start attaching themselves via the silver cord, which is almost like an umbilical cord. Okay, and the silver cord will stay with us our entire lifetime. It's actually the cord that keeps us in our body when we go on flight, when we sleep at night. If you've heard before people and poets saying that sleep is a small death, it actually is. We're just practicing leaving our body, okay? And often when we dream, we actually are going into different realms of realities, and doing other work during the nighttime that is not in the body, okay? But the soul will come into the body, and attach itself relatively early, around the third or fourth month of in utero. But it will pop in and out, right, depending on how comfortable it is. Most souls will pretty much be in the body right around their birth, so month 9, month 10. And some souls, like myself, kind of pop in and out, and really don't want to be in the body at all. But then are kind of pushed to be in the body because otherwise we're going to have a stillbirth, right? So the soul, that ball of energy, merges with the body, and fully, integrates with the body at time of birth, where then there is no way to kind of completely leave the body anymore. The soul might sort of, like leave it via sleep. So some babies who sleep a lot, are probably trying to integrate and try to figure out what they're here for and all of that. But that's really then when like my body and soul are merged, okay? And then the soul can inhabit all these different dimensions, and that happens throughout childhood, okay? We're The soul starts to unfold, in early babyhood. That's why early childhood is so very hard for kids, why they scream and cry a lot, because it's just, and I have some memories of that. It's just really, really hard to reintegrate into a body, to understand how it works. There's a lot of pain everywhere. You get teeth and all of these things. It's just really a miserable time for a soul to be in a body. And so it's all the more important that we, as adults, are compassionate, and are parents that really, really have some kind of understanding what's happening with those little kids, or grandparents even, and saying, oh man, it's really hard. They're trying to figure it out, okay? But by, I would say, age 7 or 8, the soul is really completely fully in there, and that's usually when things get a little bit easier for the soul too. But that's just, that's really what the soul is. It's that ball of energy. It merges and it integrates with all these different other aspects of our being, our body, our mind, and then the other astral places. And then as we grow up, what's layered on us is our personality and everything human about us, right? So in some way, some people might ask, well, but how come I'm still like grandma or whatever? Well, the soul will choose specific genetic codes, right? That will specifically help it, along the way. So, if the soul wants to really become a dancer, it will choose a genetic line where maybe mom and grandma were really great dancers, right? And the body is determined for that. So the soul makes that plan ahead of time and says, I really want that body, and I really want that mommy, and I really have this, this thing to work out with daddy. And that daddies can really show me something about forgiveness, or mommy can really show me something about compassion, or all these other players can really show me something about something, because we can only experience ourselves if we experience, and our true nature, which is unconditional love, if we experience the counter opposite. And that's what I was saying earlier, and I think I was kind of forgetting my thought there. But what I was saying earlier is, it's a little bit contradictory, okay? So we can only experience who we truly are if we experience the opposite. All right, so we can only experience unconditional love of who we truly are if we experience extreme emotions that are based in and rooted in fear. Okay, so jealousy, fear of not being good enough, judgment, being judged, judging others, not feeling good about judging others, or just getting this instant gratification and then not feeling good about it. So only if we can really kind of bathe in these icky, yucky, fear-based feelings, and really kind of experience that, and then get to a point where we're like, enough, I don't want any of this anymore. Only then do we actually pivot and say, hey, maybe there's something better there. Maybe this meditation thing wasn't so woo-woo. Maybe this energy healing thing wasn't so woo-woo. Maybe I'm gonna pick up that book that kept floating into my life, and I thought it was just this woo-woo stuff and whatever. Maybe I'm gonna pick it up and actually read it, and then experience something in it, or read something in it where I really feel seen, and then come on this path of healing. And that's why a lot of people, because this is what we're doing right now, we're shifting, right? We're shifting. Our earth collectively is shifting. We're still in the icky of push and pull and fear and war and all these things. And it's not just going on in the collective, okay? It's not just going outside, it's also going on inside, a lot of us. That's why therapy, traditional therapy has been ramping up. That's why holistics, any kind of energy healing, yoga, meditation, all of that stuff has been becoming more and more popular, because it's going on as above, so below, right? As outside, so within. It's happening. Okay, it's happening everywhere. Everybody is sort of um, in this fierce space of really bathing the opposite, bathing in the experience of the opposite that we are. And lastly, relationships can only be experienced here on planet Earth with others, and it is through relationships that we experience these emotions, okay? That we experience both the negative, but then also the positive, okay? And that is why we come and we incarnate here. And the more we incarnate and the more we have these relationships, the more we can kind of cross off, okay, experience that, learned my lesson about this, blah, 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 right? And then another lifetime, blah, 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 learn about this, learn about that. And at some point we don't have anything anymore here, okay? And then, we can either move on to the next level and merge further into all that is, and at some point not come back at all. But there are also souls that will decide to come back over and over again, even though they could technically merge with God. And those are the big masters that we see here on planet Earth, masters of the likes of Jesus, Mary, Mohammed, uh, any of the yogic masters, Yogananda, all of those people. A lot of them are coming back nonetheless because they want to teach, they want to help this planet to evolve, and to understand, the humanity, to understand who they truly are, because we are moving into that evolution thing. And I think I mentioned in another video before that at some point, this planet is actually not going to be a schooling planet anymore, because we're not going to need it anymore, because all of us have sort of self-realized, and it is going to be heaven on earth. And this is what all the traditions of all religions teach. So what I just said, again, this is in some way experiential knowledge that I'm sharing with you, because I do remember being that soul, and I'm remembering it more and more, especially through my meditation. I'm more and more able to sort of shift and know when I'm in my human self and when I'm not. And it's also, then kind of validated through both scientific, more or less scientific, things, as much as it can be, right? In my studies of what I earned my PhD in, which is a psychology degree in philosophy, or PhD is a psychology of philosophy degree. Okay, non-clinical. But it's also in all of the bigger books. Okay, so if you read the Bible, if you read the Bhagavad Gita, if you read Course in Miracles, if you read Conversations in God, I mean, you can read all of these, and you're going to find pretty much the same thing that they all say. Okay, and that's exactly what I just imparted to you. So with that said, I think we're at a good place to stop. Continue watching these videos. I promise they're going to make sense. I'm making these specifically because I'm guided to, because I think they're going to help a lot of people put things into context, because I think these are higher consciousness education. These can help you remember why you're here. These can hopefully make you feel less hopeless and understand that you do have a purpose here. Okay, you do have a soul plan. There is a bigger purpose to you. Your biggest purpose, obviously, is to remember who you are, and then to experience the joy through remembering. But it is also through a very specific, unique purpose that you are here for. Okay, that you came here. So all paths will teach you something about exactly those grand purposes that we all have in common. So I'm making these videos. They're a little bit like puzzle pieces. at some point, I hope my channel will be so complete that it's really going to be like a larger picture where you're like, okay, now all of this makes sense and it links into each other and none of this contradicts the other. Right now, I get a lot of questions of like, well, but this and that and whatever. I can tell you here that I've been studying this stuff for a really long time, and pretty much since I was, able to read, and it's all making sense, and no religious, toolbox contradicts the other one. It's all basically the same. It's just different colors of the same thing, okay? Different semantics, different words, different cultural backgrounds, but it's all saying the same thing. And I actually like to strip it all away from religion and just say this is all energy. We're just understanding this in a higher context of everything is energy, and that's how religion is merging with science. And religion is actually going to fall away at some point. It's not going to be in the foreground in the way that it is right now, because people are just going to understand it as a beautiful tool and a choice to use it as a tool, but they're not going to understand it as truth and the only truth. And so that we're going to have to fight over it and say, but I have the only truth. No, I have the only truth. No, that's going to be gone. And I'm really excited for those times, because those times are also going to be times of love and peace and acceptance on this planet, and they're coming. Okay, so so with that said, please share these videos if you find them helpful, so that more people can get educated about this and understand it and feel hopeful, and and understand or go on the path of understanding their own purpose, and subscribe to them. If you ever have questions or you have a specific video that you want me to make, please reach out to me. You can find my email in the description below. I also have services that I offer, both virtually as well as in person, intuitive services. I help people with life purpose. I help mothers, and parenting questions, and if I can't help you, I will always know somebody who can. I have a very large network of wonderful other practitioners that can take over if I can't. So please reach out if you have any questions. If you want to collaborate, please reach out, and I will see you next week. I don't know yet what I'll be talking about next week, but I'm sure Spirit's going to have a really lovely next piece to the puzzle. And so until then, I hope we'll see each other again, and I'm sending you all so much love. All right, keep your heads up. I know it's not an easy time, but we're going to get through it together. All right, bye.